Hey, Neil, how's it going?
Doing good, Cal. Thanks. How are you?
I am doing absolutely fabulous. So, we are here on episode 8 now.
Mm-hmm.
With a very special guest. Right, very special guest. But I literally feel like we just recorded episode 7 like an hour ago. You know.
It seems too weird to be true.
It is awesome to be back here with you in the basement. And yes, we do have a very special guest. We have Lynsey with us, which is who?
Lynsey is my sister.
Yes, she is.
Glad to be here, guys. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Love it.
So, well, thank you for being here.
Yes, appreciate it.
You know, when me and Neil were talking early on about doing this thing, obviously you were right in the mix right from the start. You know, I obviously got to know you through Neil, and I wrote down, I think the first time we ever met was actually in Arizona.
Yes, I think you were.
Me and Neil went to Arizona for spring break when we were in college, and actually met you and your brother Tommy. And,
yes.
We had a week of just kind of hanging out, and you know, the one thing I do remember about Tommy and Neil is I think they were huge Sugar Ray fans when we were there.
Yep.
Right, Neil? What was that?
Well, he was very popular at the time, so Tommy and I, we used to follow Sugar Ray.
No, you didn't.
Just kidding.
No, not a thing.
But you remember that, right?
That never happened.
Yeah, we were at the bar. Cal, you tell a better version of the story.
Well, so, you know, we were there for a week, and it wasn't like, oh, partying, you know, spring break. We just kind of hung out, right? And you got to see your family, your friends, and everything. And it was one afternoon we ended up on, I think it was like Arizona State's campus. Does that sound right?
Yeah, it was right on Mill Avenue.
Yeah. Mill Avenue.
Okay. And we're at this bar and we're just having a beer or whatever. And they're setting up, you know, for this big event.
I think it was like the Mill Avenue, like, street fair or something.
Right.
I don't know if that's the actual name.
And,
but
you know,
I think that's
like,
close.
Asking the bartender, hey, what's going on? You know, and they're like, oh, you know, we're having the big, you know, concert. Sugar Ray's here. And I'll never forget.
I forgot about that.
Like,
oh my God.
Sugar Ray. Oh, I love Sugar Ray. You know, and he's just like kind of tearing into him. And then literally like 3 people down from the bar is like Sugar Ray.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're like,
Yeah, I think his legal name might be Mark McGrath. Yeah. He doesn't go by Sugar Ray.
Yeah. And me
On
and
his
Neil
driver's
obviously were like cracking up, and we look over like, hey, and that did not, all that did was like egg Tommy on even more, you know. He's like, oh, Sugar Ray, Sugar Ray. So I've always joked that, you know, that Neil and Tom were these huge fans of Sugar Ray.
I think there was a sugar.
Yeah.
It rhymes with Ray. I mean, we'll keep it fine. We don't.
Yeah,
But
it was a different time.
It was fun.
No, and obviously, you know, over the years, we've gone to a ton of shows together, and you actually, in front of you, have your stockpile of concert ticket stubs.
Yes, there's many here.
So when you look through all those, have you identified, like, who have you seen the most when you look through all your ticket stubs?
Believe it or not, I think it's Rusted Root.
All right.
But you know what? You can still see them at a small venue. It's cheap. It's usually a great show.
It's a great show.
Yeah.
High energy, really great songs, great voice. The fact that he plays that acoustic guitar the way he does sometimes.
And I think second would be Wilco. That's
okay.
pretty high up there in the number.
Yeah, and I think, Neil, you've always said that probably Rusted Root's about your top.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I've seen it with Lynsey.
I have a ticket stub from Arizona. So
10
we've
times.
seen him out there
That's crazy.
95.
I remember I saw him one time as an opening act for the Other Ones.
Oh, wow.
Which was shortly after Jerry died, right? And it was in Cincinnati at Riverbend, which was a really cool venue, kind of like Pine Knob, you know. Actually, I think in Kentucky, but Cincinnati's claimed it.
Right.
They claim all the good things.
Our friends just went and saw Dead and Company in Cincy, and they go, and we had to stop through Kentucky for a minute because the way the highway takes you off, and you're in there for about 6 minutes.
But yeah, Rusted Root would open up for them, and then that was the only time I've ever seen those guys. Obviously, without Jerry, I never got to see them with them, but that was really cool. But they always, like you said, they always put on a great show.
Yeah.
It's always high energy. It's fun. I remember.
Crowd is chill.
I think the last time we all went, the 3 of us, Emily was there for her birthday.
Yes.
Gina, Jeff, Paul.
St. Andrews.
Elena was with us.
Yeah.
She wasn't even 21 at the time.
Gosh.
And So we all met at St. Andrews. Actually, we went to Jacoby's first.
Yep.
And then went to St. Andrews, and great show. And I remember Gina had never seen him before, and Elena hadn't seen him since she was like 10. We took her with us one time.
God, they've been around forever.
Yeah, they've been around forever, but everyone's always like, oh my God, that was so much fun.
Right.
And that's all you want out of a concert, especially when you got a huge group of people. You want a fun show and something that, you're all enjoying and going to, right? So do you remember your first concert?
Yes, I do. The first show I went to, I'd say big show. I mean, I'm sure I saw live music here and there, but was Boyz II Men, and Brandy opened for them. It was in Arizona.
Oh, wow.
I'm assuming where the Suns played, because it was a big arena.
Right.
So that was, my first, and I think that was like the first concert without, like a parent being there. Like
right.
Our friends, we got dropped off somewhere in Phoenix and go have fun.
Yeah. That's always fun.
Boyz II Men, yeah.
Wow.
I've actually seen them twice, I think.
Wow.
I think I saw them at the Palace, too, when they did one of those, New Kids on the Block, and, Paul Abdul. Right. Yeah. Everybody gets 25 minutes on the stage.
Go!
Yeah.
Do it. So, for you, what is it about live music, or music in general, that, it keeps you going back, or kind of discovering
music
a new
is
thing, or...
my favorite thing, I think. I'd rather sit and listen to music than watch TV any day. I mean, my husband and I, we try to go see as much live music as we can. It's just something we really enjoy doing together, and you never know what you're going to see. The band, what are they going to play, on this tour? And people watching is obviously always enjoyable. So
we just talked about that in the last episode.
Yeah.
The people watching is always part of it.
Yep.
And, I mean, like you just said, like, you might just go to a concert to go. It's something to do, right?
Yeah, we are right by the Caju Cafe. So, I mean, on a Friday night, there's just live music, $10. Yeah.
A quick Uber downtown to catch something.
Yeah, or something
right?
like that.
And, it kind of brings up Black Note Graffiti, right? They were on our show before. Like, I never would have listened to them or really heard about them before, but, they're on our show and stuff. And it's like, you appreciate what they do, and they just played last night North by Northeast in Toronto.
Oh, really?
At a place called Bovine Sex Club. And they played there a couple years in a row now. They did South by Southwest.
There's nothing sexy about it.
They played South by Southwest? Wow. I'd like to go to that.
Yeah, so they just did, it was the Burn Fest at Blind Pig last week. I didn't get a chance to go. I really wanted to, but they are playing Chelsea in July. But no, it was like you just said, like you discover things, and I will say they do a cover of White Rabbit, and you should definitely download it.
All right.
They do have, the female lead singer, and she does a great job, and it's a lot harder music leading in, but stuff like that. You just, you pick up on it.
Man, I went and just saw Iron Maiden at LCA, and it was actually, I mean, it exceeded my expectations. I was expecting it to be wonderful, but man, it blew me away. It was a really cool show.
Really?
Yep.
So have you always been an Iron Maiden fan, or was it just kind of go and experience and do it because it's a huge thing?
I love Iron Maiden because it's metal, but it's like kind of fantasy metal. So it's it's kind of like stoner metal. It's just everybody's really chill. There's not a pit. There's nothing crazy going on. The stage presence is amazing. So it's just fun to watch.
Huh.
Might have been a colleague free ticket too. I'm not sure, but no.
Okay.
Well, but you also gotta imagine. I mean, they've been around for a long time, right? So a lot of their fan base is also
older
so
crowd.
They're not going to be monsters,
yeah, exactly.
So they're just like loving it.
I think it was like a Tuesday night,
right? That's hilarious.
But it was great.
All right, so we definitely want to dig into some of that pile. And I remember we talked, I think, briefly with Paul about a show. We went, and then with John Shack earlier on episode 7. We went to a Tragically Hip show.
Yes.
Right? And that was at Pine Knob. And great band.
They were always fun to watch.
100%. And, there's bands that just kind of stick to the script, and that wasn't them. They would kind of just do it their own way. And
it was crazy to see, obviously they're from Canada. So you see, I mean, the fan base from Canada that would drive all the way to Clarkston to go see them play by the bus blew my mind. Yeah.
By the busload.
Yes.
It was something. I mean, we talked about that just last episode. Like you've never seen something like that before. I would equate it almost to like Deadheads.
Yes.
You know, that are following the
Yes,
band
I mean,
around,
that's...
But it's at a national level. It's
Yeah.
not like this little like, group of people, you know, like and it was just everywhere, which one actually created a really cool experience.
It was a great atmosphere.
And I'll never forget that show because, I mean, I remember we would always park at Pine Knob in the back way.
Yeah, that was kind of before that was really well known.
Correct.
And you could go down that dirt road along the service drive of
you
75.
turn right before you ever go over 75,
Yes.
and you come back under, and it's a dirt road.
And
you're in like a subdivision.
Yes.
And those people that live in those houses,
Bless their hearts.
bless
Oh
you.
my God. There's a reason why there's like 11 p.m. curfew sharp.
Right.
We do apologize, but
But no, and then like you come out and like all of a sudden you're there in the parking lot.
Yeah.
And that's like the first time when you come in the Pine Knob where you're like,
Right.
that aha moment,
And you're right by the door, like right by the gate. It's great, you know.
And then you park and then you like walk into the venue and that's your second aha.
that's a funny thing. Real quick, that's a funny thing that you say. Like, I think we almost do we not take advantage of how cool Pine Knob is?
Oh,
Well, we
like-
probably take it for granted, yeah.
Take it for granted, you know.
100%.
Like,
Yeah.
I'll take the
It
back
is-
way in every
isn't
time too. For
it
that way.
pretty cool.
You know
that-
what?
You know, when we go to a show at Pine Knob, we're like, oh my gosh, this is really cool.
it is a very cool venue.
It's a special venue.
It is.
And
All
it's, I
right.
mean, it's been 50.
And I know
it's been
there's-
around for 50
Oh,
years.
absolutely. Yeah.
And now
It's been
there's
around since the
venues
70s.
around the country, and we get it, but
It's on Bob Seger Drive, but you know
I mean,
what?
it's so tucked away that you can fit 15,000 people there.
And not even know it.
Yeah, it
Right.
blows my mind.
yeah. All right.
No, absolutely. It's a great venue. And I remember tragically that was an amazing show. I mean, with that crowd, that size. I mean, that's 15,000
Yeah, that was
people. So we're on the way out. We were at
Well, so we drove separately from,
Correct.
yeah, so
Right. So yeah,
I was in a car with Dario, Paul, and Keith.
right. And it was me and Neil and Shaq. We realized.
Yeah,
I never
he
realized
was there.
Mm-hmm.
So it was at least the six, and there might have been a couple other randos there.
Randos.
I say randos.
I feel
but
like
of course they're
Gruey may
mainstays.
have been there.
Very easily could
Yeah.
have been. And then insert any like 5 other names. It could have been
Yeah.
them, too. But yeah, so we're leaving, and like not only did we get in first, it was almost like the Clark Griswold. You got
Right,
in,
right.
and then you got out first.
Nobody around us, man.
But
It was crazy.
These back roads, and it's dark, and it was like
Little
it was
slick.
like slick and wet and
Just
stuff.
damp.
And you're on these dirt roads, and you know we take off, and you turn right, and you go all the way down. And there's all these cops, and they force you. I mean, they work it perfect.
Right.
All the traffic. So my car, my Red Explorer Sport,
Was that a 2-door?
it was a 2-door.
Yes, okay.
Yes, it was.
That was a dope ass Explorer,
It
by
was
the way.
dope.
I'm just
as
trying to
F.
figure out how we all fit in there. Well, yeah.
So we get out and we're cruising down the road, and then
Yeah, so we're leaving, same situation, you know, just blown away that there's no traffic out here yet. Like, let's get out of here. This is great. Cruising along. And, you know, the street was just a little bit slick and
Well,
it's
it was
dirt
a dirt
road.
road,
Yeah,
yeah.
and so we started to fishtail a bit. And then, I mean, I look up and I'm like, we're going to hit this tree. It's going to happen. And Keith is sitting next to me. I'm behind Paul. Dario's driving. And he like, you know, we don't have our seatbelts on. It was 2000, I guess, referencing the concert ticket stuff here. And he leans, you know, Keith tries to like stop me from like going anywhere, and I nail the back of his head and just split my forehead open. And we're just like stopped there, and I, you know, obviously in shock. What the hell just
so
happened?
did like the airbags come out and everything?
No, but the whole front end of the Taurus was just bent in. I mean, the windshield had cracked. It was spilling
but the
fluids
headlights
everywhere.
were
Yeah, the
still-
headlights were still intact because it was that
Wow.
real pointy, you know, model of that Taurus, you know.
Uh-huh.
Just the front end kind of stuck
Yeah.
out. So that's
Right.
what got the impact the most. And so we kind of get a lay of the land. Like, I'm pretty sure we were probably getting rid of stuff that, you know, might imply that we were not all right to drive. And we pulled into the subdivision. The car was still driving, thankfully, and just to kind of see what the heck's going on. We're like, all right, we got to get out of here, man. Like, this traffic's about to start pouring out of Pine Knob. Like, let's get on the road. And go right by the Oakland County Sheriff, just flagging us along. His cars, smoking and the front end.
Dripping fluid everywhere.
Like, I don't know how you made it here in that, and we get on to 75 for a minute, and all of a sudden the car just starts overheating, and we're like, all right, we got to get off. And I think it was like
the
a mobile.
coolant to lights.
Yes.
It's never a good thing.
And so I have no idea how we got a hold of you. I mean,
so
you must have had a cell phone.
And that's what I figured. It was around 2000, and I think driver of car A and driver of car B actually had phones, and that was kind of the whole purpose, right? And that was always the whole purpose anyway. Right. We knew driver of car A and driver of car B
would be in contact with one another.
They'd be in contact, and they were the DDs.
Right.
Right. So that was always the main thing. So we got in touch by a cell phone, and my phone rings, and of course you're like, what the hell? And it's, hey, what's up? It's like, hey, we need to meet at a gas station at such and such.
Yes, immediately.
Blah, blah, blah. And that's where, we turned around. We end up meeting at the gas station. And, it's like a perfect V in the car.
Right.
The lights are on. Everything else looks pristine. And, we ended up loading, I think, 8 people into an Explorer Sport.
That 2-door Explorer
to end up
Sport.
all the way back at home base.
Westland.
Yep. And we did it.
Oh, yeah.
And we did it, and, we
made it.
Yep, and you know what, that was...
A few stitches later, we're all good to go. I remember I have the hospital wristband. That's how we could reference which concert it was.
Thank God.
Oh, good times.
So, one thing I wanted to talk about, having you on the show, his music documentaries, was a topic that came to mind. You watch them over time. I'm a huge documentary fan.
Right.
Is there anyone in your mind that kind of sticks out that you can think of?
Well, I had the pleasure of traveling on Delta, in the last few years, and there's some really good Brian Wilson documentaries.
Really?
Seriously.
Well, he's an interesting dude.
Yeah, mind-blowing, that what's going on in your head that you're creating music that isn't making sense to anybody as it's happening, but when it's all put together.
And he was a mess too.
Yes.
And
one bad acid trip, man.
and I'm not a Beach Boys fan at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah, not really.
I like the Beach Boys. I mean, I'm not going to go to Meadowbrook and see them now, but
I like the Beach Boys too.
Thanks.
No.
I mean, they're
always a thing.
I like them better than the Beatles. Fuck the Beatles.
Oh, wow. Them's fighting words.
They're fighting words, but you know what?
Yeah.
I hate to say it, we were at Dearborn Music yesterday, me and Emily, and for Father's Day I was picking out some shirts.
Right.
Needed new shirts because we're recording. I'm not going to lie, I don't always have all the band shirts. So I got this, my Beck shirt.
I like it.
It has 2 turntables and a microphone. I told my kids, I'm like, this is my favorite. They're like, really?
I remember when the second Beck album came out, after he had so much success, and I think I brought it over to Paul's house, and I remember he just threw it across the living room. Not listening to this. I'm like, dude, I just bought that. Thanks.
Actually,
it's a good album.
It is, and I do love Beck actually, and he's coming. I think in August.
Yep. Is that at Pine Knob?
Yeah, with Phoenix.
That'd be a good show.
Which would be a good show for sure. And I think it's early August. Probably a good birthday show for you.
He has a nice slower song.
Yeah, I actually did hear something on the radio recently.
If he might have a lot of slower songs, I have no idea, but I heard over the radio. It's actually pretty good.
I appreciate anybody that's got some talent, get up there and make some memories for people.
Absolutely.
Going to see some live shows is the best thing you could do. I love that you take your kids. You know what I mean?
100%.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
it's great. There were a ton of kids at the show I was at last night too. So
really,
yep,
that's awesome. And we're gonna definitely get into that some more. I know you went to a couple really cool shows recently.
Yeah. And
I think we're gonna bring out a second special guest in a little bit. That we're gonna talk about that. Geoff? I don't know. I got his name written down, but I can't probably make it up.
He starts, I think, with a G, right? Or no?
So,
It's
But
a J?
before we move on and all
soft
that
J.
stuff, so I know
Soft
one, like, we talked about Rusted Root, and I got to imagine in that stack of ticket stubs, you have quite a few Dave Matthews probably as well.
You know what? I really didn't think I had. I feel like I found the one from. Did we see him at Comerica Park?
Yeah, it was awful.
Yeah, that was terrible.
It was
Yeah,
awful.
the worst.
And I'm sure I've seen him at Pine Knob, but
Yeah.
I have traveled to see Fish. I seen them at
Oh,
Alpine
really?
Valley, yeah, with Mudry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
and I think I saw him in Tucson.
So,
too.
where exactly is that? When you saw. Well. Oh, in Wisconsin?
Yes,
Okay.
I remember that. Okay, so that show, we were camping or something, and we took the car to go, get into Alpine Valley, and the line of cars was just ridiculous. And you're out in the middle of nowhere. And I'm like, well, I have to pee, We're going slow enough. I think it's fine. Like, I can jump out of the car and I'll catch up with you. Sure as shit, as soon as I got out of the car, traffic just starts moving. And I'm like, I don't even know where the hell I'm going. You know what I mean? I'm in Wisconsin. Like, never been in this venue before. I found it, though. Follow the cars.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they have a great following.
You know where
of
you're
people.
going.
Yeah. There's a great, yeah.
There'd be like thousands of people that take care of you, no
Yes.
problem. Like, legitimately. in a
Are you
good way.
hungry?
Right. Yeah.
Do you need water?
There's so many grilled cheese and
Yes.
waters fluttering around those places.
And
It's not
also,
even
do you
funny.
need some acid?
Right.
Well, I mean, of course. I mean, they're friendly people.
Yes.
Mushrooms? Sure.
So, how many times did you say you've seen Fish then?
I actually haven't seen them that many times. Maybe only like 4 times.
Really?
But going and seeing them in different, like at
Right.
a venue like that, Alpine Valley was cool.
'Cause
And,
I've only seen Fish one time ever.
and I saw them in Tucson,
And-
for sure. I know
yeah.
that, yeah.
Nice. I saw them actually in Cincinnati at Riverbend,
Okay.
and I went by myself. I
Nice.
was down in about Dayton area or so for work, and a couple days before that, I met our buddy Echon in Cincinnati. We saw Ben Harper
Oh, nice.
at the Taft Theater, and I'm like, I can't believe I never thought of this before. I worked in this place for 5 years, and Cincinnati's an hour and a half away,
Right.
in a hotbed of shows and stuff. So I went to this Ben Harper show with Echon, which I can't wait to talk to him about when he's on. And then as I was looking to buy that ticket, I'm like, holy shit, Fish is playing in Cincinnati 2 days later. So I bought a ticket for that, but I was going by myself.
Yeah.
It
Nothing
was
wrong
like you
with
said,
that.
you show up, and I mean, the
Absolutely.
people, it's
Well,
great
it's-
people. It's like you have fun. It's great music.
I mean, I know we can all, bunch of hippies, whatever, man.
Right.
They're so chill. It's fine.
You know, you're not gonna have a problem with anyone.
Right. Nobody's going to get in any beef
So
with
that's
anybody.
Right. I'm so mad, but I'm gonna have a grilled cheese.
That's a funny question because we've all heard the question. Have you ever watched a movie alone and just went and watched a movie?
Absolutely.
I have, of course.
I don't think I have.
But have you ever watched
Pie
concert.
and Train Spotting. I
a
watched
concert
both.
together? Not together, but alone.
Mm-hmm.
And you have just answered that question.
Yep.
I mean, maybe at a small venue around my house or something, but nothing that I purchased
Yeah,
where I'm like, I'm
right,
going to
I've
this show.
never
No
done
one
it.
else wants to go. Screw it.
Dude over
But I
here
should. There's nothing
did.
wrong with that.
You went and watched Fish alone.
I went and saw Fish
That's
alone, and
pretty
I
cool.
actually saw Tool by myself at the State Theater,
Nice.
and it would have been, I think, it would have been February of '93. No, February of '94.
Have you been to the State Theater recently?
I did for Marcus Mumford.
Oh, okay.
Me and Emily went to Marcus Mumford. She's a huge fan of Mumford. So
When was that? They've got that bar open again, which is great.
Yes,
Yes, finally.
It was.
why was that ever closed?
It was like.
That bar open.
It was. I will say it was the year of Cal for concerts.
Okay,
even though it was
good
only
for you.
I only went to 6, but it was 2022, and
Well, yeah, after being on a hiatus,
right,
for
exactly.
2 years.
so I talked about it. I think I forget with John and whoever else, but I went to the Lumineers in February of 2020.
Oh, wow, right before.
So right before, it was at LCA.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
amazing.
I should know that.
Right, and they Mount Joy opened up for them.
I like Mount Joy.
Mount Joy's great.
Yeah,
you know,
I've kind of gotten to like them on Pandora.
Kennedy always like, I don't like Mount Joy. I don't like.
I think they're actually.
I don't like Revivalists because they're all like the same.
I love the Revivalists.
I like them all.
Revivalists,
but
you put that in your notes.
Yeah,
right, and she'll come around. You know why? Because she's got a Beastie Boys poster
right.
on her wall.
Give it time.
So she'll come around. But no,
I never thought I'd look bluegrass, and here I am.
Right.
You know?
Which we're definitely going to get into here in a little bit. But yeah, so the one thing I would say, you seem to like kind of getting into maybe on the ground floor with some artists and kind of watching them grow. Through,
right.
You know.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, the one thing we'll definitely get into here in the next few minutes is the band Wilco.
Yes.
And that's the one where, I mean, I was actually in college. And
I think you introduced us to them.
I'm still
like, I gotta credit you with a lot of music that I like because it's stuff I would have never even known about, you know.
Well, and this is what we talked about in episode 7 with John Shack. Like, it was weird because early 90s you had like the grunge,
right?
You know, so and you had
your Pearl Jam,
your Pearl Jams, your Pumpkins, who are all different. But you had that, and then like that kind of like came to an end almost in like the mid to late 90s, and then you had like these offshoots, and then it became like.
Well, that's where you get your Sugar
Rays. This is where your Sugar Rays for
Matchbox 20, and
right. But then you also went this other way where you had like the John Shack love towards Limp Bizkit and the Corns, and the who's the Chester Bennington, what is
Linkin Park.
Linkin Park. You had like those bands.
Like,
so you had like these people that went that went that way. And you had like these people that were like kind of Dave Matthews, Ben Harper.
But we rode your coattails,
and then
with
you
the
were
Wilco, like
and I never, but the part I don't remember is like, why did I ever even listen to Uncle Tupelo? Because that was where it all started.
Was it? So how were you listening to Sunvolt?
So that was the thing.
Billy Bragg.
No, it all started. The first thing was Uncle Tupelo, and that was Jeff Tweedy with Jay Farrar.
Yes.
Right? And they were like this group.
Yep.
And it was a lot of, it had like that country kind of twang feel to it.
They define themselves. No, I don't think they are, but Wikipedia is rock country or
something like that.
Country,
alt country, I believe is what they call it.
It's rock and roll.
And then it was at a certain point,
it's rock and roll.
I believe it was Jay Farrar who was like, I'm done.
Yes.
And then he created Sunvolt.
I think it was a little bit of a
it was definitely
too big for your britches, both of them for a minute.
They both couldn't be
like,
in the band together forever.
It wasn't going to work
out.
And
I think it was Jay who first was like, I'm going on. He created Sunvolt, and then Jeff Tweedy was like, all right, well, I got Wilco. And then Wilco just kind of blew up.
Yes.
But Sunvolt is a great band.
Yes.
I mean, Neil, we talked about this.
It's a great road trip band.
Right.
I mean, we've listened to Sunvolt.
The year 2000, we did Chicago for New Year's Eve. We did the Kentucky Derby, and we did Mardi Gras, all within like 4 months of each other. Yep. So, and I talk about when you're doing these road trips, and we would play CDs, and we would have the big book, and we'd pick one all the way through. You'd pick one all the way through. And Sunvolt was always one that you played. And actually, the Kentucky Derby, I'll never forget. In Details magazine, they were like, Sunvolt is like the #1 like road trip band. Yeah. I'm like, screw you, Details. I already know that.
I had to scratch your magazine to hear that.
On the Kentucky Derby, Mm-hmm.
That had to have been wild, the Derby. I would love to go to that.
It was amazing.
I know.
And the one thing I'll say, they have that song called Drown.
Yes.
Just like Smashing Pumpkins have Drown. Two totally different songs, but two awesome songs named the same. But no, that was like kind of getting on the ground floor. We saw Sunvolt at the Majestic. We saw Wilco at the Majestic Theater.
So who came first? Tupelo.
Tupelo came first, then you had Sunvolt, you had Wilco, and then from there, you had the Wilco and Billy Bragg collaboration.
There it is, all right.
Yes.
Which was the old Woody Guthrie lyrics.
Yes.
right? So
That's great.
the Woody Guthrie estate had all these lyrics that he
There you
wrote
go.
for all the years.
Yes.
He was Arlo Guthrie's father. So he was like a huge, kind of like, I guess you would categorize him maybe like country,
yeah.
folky.
Folky
Yeah,
country.
folk.
But he had all these lyrics.
Folky country.
Yeah,
I like
his
that.
estate found, and then they handed them off to Wilco and
Right.
Billy Bragg, and they took all these lyrics and put the music behind them, and that was like two of the best album
Yes, that is.
CDs that I have ever purchased in my life.
Yes.
Which was Mermaid Avenue 1, Volume 1 and Volume 2 with Wilco and Billy Bragg.
Yeah, no, they are my favorite band. Wilco is my. If I want to talk about a favorite band, yes, absolutely.
And, you know,
It's Wilco.
I think about those albums and like the number one California stars.
Yes, you know what? And that reminds me of we went and saw Wilco at the Royal Oak Music Theater. I don't know if you were. You may have been. You probably were there. And Keith was there. I mean, we must have all been there. And I remember Tweety pulls a bunch of chicks up on the stage, right? And I'm like right there. I'm like, sweet, like I would love to get up there. And I didn't get selected, which is fine. I probably would have been a nervous wreck. And they sing California Stars, and I'm watching these girls, and I'm like, they don't even know the words. How'd you get up there?
Right.
This isn't
Probably
even right.
their husbands or their boyfriends.
Yeah.
that loved
I don't
Wilco,
even
and
know
they-
Wilco.
they
I'm just
never
along for the
checked
ride.
time
Yeah.
to be there.
So when we were just like getting the Wilco and all these bands, we were still in college. We were still at UAD.
Well, it was great because you could see them
Oh.
play for,
Yeah.
Right, and it was,
Majestic or...
you know,
Majestic,
15 minutes down the
Magic
road. But I'll never forget, like, we would go to these shows and we would always see that random dude from the UAD baseball team. He would always be there with his buddies because he liked the band
Terry
too.
guy?
I don't even remember what his name was.
Terry.
I don't remember his name. But I just remember that guy would always be there.
Right.
And the only time we like ever acknowledged each other was like at the show.
Yeah, not
you know?
at school,
Hey, what's up,
nothing.
dude? Yeah, like,
What up?
what's up? But no, again,
was
back to
probably
music,
Daryl.
it just brings, you
Right.
probably know as Daryl.
Brings
You know,
people together.
It does. It brings all walks
People
of
that
life
you wouldn't
together.
expect that you would even get
100%.
along with, and you're now at a show together, and you're like, oh, all right. I like this band too.
We did have a not a bad relationship with the baseball team. Like for some
I
reason
would
we
say
didn't
it
get
was,
along.
It was a bit
I don't-
tenuous.
Yeah, I
It was
don't
a
know
bit
what it
tenuous,
was,
right?
but I loved all the baseball players. They
Well, they always
No,
threw
I
the
can
parties,
almost tell.
right?
Well,
they were all right.
so no, it was if you remember, it was the frat house,
The fraternity
was
house
along
right across
Callahan
Hall, yeah.
through the party.
Those basements. That was unsafe down there, man.
Never.
The
it was
capacity
a
down
great
there.
time. But
Yes,
yeah,
no,
there
a
was
great
always
time.
A ton of people.
I just mean very
But yeah,
packed.
Super bad.
I think the event you're talking about, we were all there. I believe it might have been Phi Cap, it might have been Cigarette. I don't know.
Who knows?
But it was a party. Everyone was having fun, and it just escalated from there. And it just like ended up a couple,
Oh, yeah, there was
couple
a fight.
teams involved
That's
in
right.
it, and it was like it literally.
I remember. I don't know where that was stored at in my
It almost
brain,
reminded
but I
me
remember.
of like
Yeah.
something from like Bayside High.
Yes.
Almost like, right?
Oof.
You know, kind of like our bear over there.
Yeah.
Who just loves Zach Morris way too much. The way he's sitting.
I thought AC Slater said more like that.
Oh, that was Zach. Come on.
I'm
That
pretty
was
sure
Zach.
it's AC.
Oh, no, come on.
Pull up
Man,
a
We'll
chair.
put it in the Googler.
man, if you had,
I love that you called it the Googler too, by the way. I've been laughing at that.
if we had the technology,
Like
Oh, man, with Zach, I don't know anything. Googler numbers,
Yeah.
words, put it in there. Oh my God, it gives me the
Here's
answer.
the answer.
The
Get out of
Googler.
here.
All right, so I think at this point,
If you're gonna segue off Wilco, is that?
well, the one thing I mentioned documentaries earlier.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But-
I want to talk about.
Before we get into our extra special guest, which blows my mind, we're gonna have 4 people on the fucking panel, Neil.
On
This
the
is-
panel.
This is 2 dudes like, boom, like
two dudes.
first.
I
ever.
think you may go viral after this.
Probably. We haven't yet. I know we got.
That's right.
I know we have tens of followers.
10.
We haven't yet. I don't know if you heard, but we actually broke into Canada finally.
Oh yes. Who lives in Windsor? That you you know.
No, that's fucking. We're in Nova Scotia.
Stankovitz.
No, he's in Tecumseh, I think. Fair enough, whatever. Breaking that international
You took
border.
the long way home. I don't know.
We're probably in Saskatchewan by now.
Heck yeah.
Fuck out
It's
here.
probably Iserman. Fuck it, I don't know. But anyway, so speaking of documentaries, and we touched on Wilco, and this is always one. I mean, I love documentaries, and especially when music's involved, it's even
Right.
better, right? And I started thinking about it because Wilco's a huge topic for today, and I'm like, oh my god, they actually had that documentary.
I couldn't believe what year that came out because I was like, wow, why am I not remembering, just
was
even the content?
Right.
And it was
Early.
like 2000, I think.
Right, so it
super
was.
early.
It was 23 years ago.
Right.
Jesus.
Which is absolutely amazing.
Right.
And then I started thinking about it. I'm like, I don't think I've actually seen Wilco in probably 20 years.
What?
Yeah, I mean,
Really?
like the whole phase.
don't come to
whatever
Michigan
the
a
album
lot.
with Ghost in the title was.
Ghost is Born?
Yeah, so like from that
great.
point on, not that it's not great,
Oh.
and I've heard songs.
Oh, just
and,
more of the recent stuff.
But from that point on, I've never actually seen him live.
Right. Oh, gotcha.
And I mentioned this to Emily just earlier today. I'm like, that's one band I want to go see. Like
Yes.
that, and like I probably like my fanboy perfect scenario ever would be to see them at Red Rocks. That would be probably my big thing.
That'd be
I've never
amazing.
been to Red Rocks. And
Yes,
I haven't seen Wilco
I
in a
have
long
been to Red
time,
Rocks.
and
I wonder
you
how
have.
much.
Yes.
Who'd you
I
see
wonder
that?
how much those tickets would be.
Probably not much, honestly. Like
Really?
the last show Red Rocks is fine. It's not crazy expensive.
Oh, really? I didn't
And
know.
it seems like
yeah,
the bands will play like 2, 3, even
Yes,
more.
they'll do, like, 3
depending,
nights,
like,
right.
Depending how
Oh,
what
okay.
the demand is.
Yeah, we went out to so we flew out to Denver, me and Jeff and 2 of our friends, and we went and saw Green Sky Bluegrass, which is
Okay.
they're from Kalamazoo. Great band. They did, I think, 2 nights out there, but Billy Strings opened for them. So that was kind of bucket list. Definitely if you get a chance to go out and see a show at Red Rocks, do it. And just plan a trip around it. You know,
Right.
it's super
Absolutely.
easy. Denver's easy. Obviously the airport's
It's a
really
beautiful
far away,
area.
but you're not far from Red Rocks if you stay in Denver.
Right.
We took a lift, I think. Yeah.
So that's actually, I was talking with Emily about that, and that was one thing I was looking at for this summer.
Yes.
And see who was playing there.
They're not. If you follow, I mean,
And they had one
always
Big
announcing
Head
shows.
Todd was there, and it was
Yeah.
like some 30th anniversary of something or other, and plus they're from
Head
Colorado,
Todd.
so that would be
Yes.
awesome. And Lord Huron was there, and I think Mount
like
Joy
Lord
was
Huron
there
too. Are they from Michigan ish? One of the guys is, I think.
It's possible.
Yes.
They have some fabulous songs.
Yeah, they're.
Lord Huron actually is like one of the newer,
Yeah.
to me, newer bands. Like they could
There's
have been around for
a-
20 years, probably.
Another local guy. I mean, I think he might be from maybe more like mid Michigan, but the band is Michigander.
Oh yeah.
Really good. But if
Oh,
if
yeah.
you're
He was just
following,
here.
yeah, we saw him.
Oh, you
at
did?
St. Andrews? Yeah.
Oh, really?
It was
Yeah.
great.
Well, that's
Sold
what
out.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I'm asking about. How was that concert?
It was an amazing show. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean,
I wanted to go.
You want to know how I heard about it? I was watching a Netflix movie and I was like, what is this song in the background? It's kind of catchy, you know? So I just typed in some lyrics and I'm like, holy shit, this guy, from Michigan, pretty
Yeah.
cool, you know what I mean? And started listening to, following him on Pandora, and
Yeah.
So
you'll hear like Lord Huron, you'll hear,
right, but
you know,
I remember
Mount
talking
Joy.
with Neil. I remember hearing a song on like 107.1,
Right.
the Ann Arbor station, and it was Michigander, and like, oh yeah, it's a local Michigan guy. And I remember usually whenever I see Neil, I'll always talk about new
But
songs
those
we hear.
$18
and I mentioned,
bucks.
he's like, oh yeah, I know Michigander. You know,
Yeah.
he started
Right away.
spitting out about it.
I
Yeah,
He already,
love
like-
Michigan.
he was all over it.
Right.
I'm like,
Oh,
I've
yeah,
never
I'm
heard
like-
of this guy.
And then
But
Lindsay,
to go see him for $18, I started sending you a bunch of songs,
I'm
and you're like,
oh yeah, that's
I've
right.
already heard all of these.
Yeah,
I've already heard all this.
but they're good songs.
Thought I was
Anytime
introducing
you
him to
can knock you
something,
down.
right?
No, I did. I'm like, there were a couple songs that you said.
Yeah,
and
I
I'm like,
know.
oh my gosh, I didn't even hear that song.
Yeah,
So-
no, that concert was great too. $18. I mean,
Yeah,
It was
how was
good
that?
show.
What's that?
Before we bring out special guests, I want to hear about you two. Right? Any growing up concerts you saw, things, anything like that.
Well, I remember-
because we have our gained experiences.
Absolutely.
But like, what about you guys? Because you guys have a unique relationship.
Well,
and I look at my kids, right?
Right.
Candy and Avery, and they're kind of within the same age range of you guys, just flipped, right?
Yeah.
With the age,
Yeah.
with who's, and it's great because I see them I've always looked at you two as having that great relationship.
Yes,
right?
we do, definitely.
I've also seen you guys have your hard times, like I have seen with them. But I've always looked at you guys like, if my son and my daughter had that relationship with you two that do, then I would be super happy.
Yes,
and think that, you know what, maybe I've done a good job.
Heck yeah.
I have to say,
Oh, your kids are great. Yes.
I'm not looking for that. But what I'll say is
I know
that I know your family. I know, Mary.
Yes.
I know Big T.
R.I.P.
Tommy,
Yes,
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
But I know the entire family, so I kind of look at it in that regard.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's what I want, and I'm like, I see it festering with them.
Yes.
But you also see them like button heads, which I've seen you guys do
Oh, for sure.
all the time, and you'll continue to do because you are siblings.
Yeah.
And whatever.
I'll start.
So I'm gonna sit back.
I'll start and say this is a Jackson Brown T-shirt. Myself and Lindsay and
Dad and Barb
went
we
to
all
that
went
concert.
to. Well, it was Jackson Brown opened for Tom Petty at the Palace.
TP and the HB.
Yeah, great.
What a
that would be
wonderful concert.
Yes, I miss
And then
Tom
we
Petty.
also saw Tom Petty at Pine Knob.
Yes, we
Wait,
did.
You've seen Tom Petty more than once, the both of you?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah, my dad loved Tom Petty, so.
Really?
I think Dad was at that show at Pine
See,
Knob.
I
he had
never-
seats though.
That's
we
one
were
of
on the
those
lawn.
ones where I've always said I never got a chance to see.
Yeah.
Oh
God.
And like
great shows.
Of Tom Petty, you're like, that guy will always be around.
No,
you
I
know
know.
what I mean? Like you
I
just
cannot.
respect. He was like that workhorse
Yes.
mainstay, always there, and all of a
Absolutely.
sudden he was gone. I was like, holy
I know.
crap!
It's sad.
And then I really started feeling effing old. All right.
Yeah,
Back
no
at it.
kidding. But I feel like I know you guys have touched a little bit on REM on previous podcasts.
REM and Wilco. Remember that show? That was fucking amazing.
Well, that was at Pine Knob, right?
Pine Knob?
Yeah. So, but anyways, dating back to Arizona, this was, Neil and I had bought tickets to go see REM, and then he had that whole
he was injured.
Brain, I don't know if it was something with his brain.
aneurysm.
Yeah, he had that brain.
Or
Yes.
whatever.
So
Or
that tour got
days.
postponed for 2 years, and then Neil went off to U of D for school. So he never even got to go to that show. I got to bring a different friend. Yes, I ended up going.
The
Yeah,
makeup.
yeah.
And Lindsay saw it, which is great because REM is probably
Back
not
then
one
it
of my
was,
favorite
you know, it
bands,
was in
but
the 90s.
I love REM.
Yeah.
Well, if I remember correctly, during the Ryan Maxey episode, I believe REM might have made your top 5 if you were on the desert
absolutely.
island.
REM, absolutely.
Wow. All right.
But you know
I
what?
love REM. I grew up on it. 'Cause
No, I know.
Tommy
Yeah, I know. It was.
and Mike Jones.
Yes, we were
Tom-
listening to him.
And they
And I was
freaking
more
had
like-
REM.
Yeah.
I was kind
cranking.
of Tommy's age.
Yep.
And I remember REM you loved them because there wasn't much out there like
Right?
them.
No, it wasn't.
And
That
they
was
had a
kind
lot
of.
of cool songs.
It was different. It
Absolutely.
was,
But it was
nothing you'd really
REM and Wilco opened up at Pine Knob. Oh my god, that was amazing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Wilco was probably better.
They were.
Yeah, for that.
Yeah,
I feel like
well,
that I remember that.
either
Just being
or.
like, well, I kind of enjoyed Wilco.
Those were treaty jump the person's ass for eating the subway sub,
That's the best,
remember?
though. Remember those days? You never were sure what you were going to get with Jeff Tweedy. Oh God, is he going to be pissed at everybody today?
Right.
We all showed up to watch you.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
like,
But I'm the opener.
Yeah.
I'm the opener. This sucks. You're eating a sub.
He has that stray beard.
And for some reason, I'm pissed today.
Right. Well, that might have been, during the opiate days. Very angry.
What's funny is we were talking, and the one time me and Keith went to Chicago, and this was way back when, right? And we used to go. Echon lived in Chicago,
Right.
So we would literally go almost once a month.
Right.
And then there was one time, I'm like, hey, Echon, we're coming next weekend or whatever. He's like, dude, I'm not even going to be here. And I'm like, well, shit.
We're already on the road.
I'm like, we already made plans.
We've passed Kalamazoo.
Me and Keith were flying. We weren't even driving. We were flying.
Oh, shit.
We were flying and
Booked
taking
a
the
flight.
train.
Yeah.
We had nothing. We had no responsibility. And he's like, well, I'm not going to be here. I'm like, oh. dude, we already got
Can we
plane.
stay at your
I go, we
place?
already got. No, he offered it.
Oh, right on. You didn't even
He's
have to
like,
ask.
well, he's like, well, do you want me to FedEx you my keys? I'm like, fuck, that'd be amazing.
That is great.
And like 2 days later at my house, these
Yep.
FedEx package with
Yeah.
his keys. Me and Keith jumped on the flight and we went to Lounge Axe, which was Jeff Tweedy's bar.
Yeah, well, yes, there's another.
Well, like 20.
Is it called something different now?
Well, so we went like, this is, you got to imagine, this is like 25 years
Yes.
ago, right? So me and Keith are sitting there because we're hoping that Tweety is going to show up and
Right,
play this
right.
random show at his bar.
Probably
right?
serve you a beer.
And like there's some guy who like pushes a button on a drum track and he's got a guitar and that's what we were watching, you know. And we mentioned that like episode 1 and each I was like, dude, Lounge Axe has been closed for 20 years. I have my
That
throw it
chance,
out
yeah.
right now. Tweety and Lounge Axe.
Well, I guess he did do a surprise show there, like before we saw them in Chicago.
Oh, really?
Just recently, yeah. And I mean, you couldn't even get in line. You know, you couldn't even get in the
Oh, of
building. It was
course.
like,
Right.
Speaking of
10
that show,
minutes.
how was that show?
it was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what kind of one thing that Jeff and I have been starting to do is go see a band, you know, in their hometown. So
Okay.
yeah, that was.
So you actually went and saw Wilco in Chicago.
Yes, we did. They played at the
That's
Riviera.
too freaking.
So the
Awesome.
Riviera, I'm not familiar at all. So how big is that?
I would compare it to like the Majestic.
Really?
Yeah, it looks like the Majestic. Like when I got inside there, I was
so
like,
maybe a couple thousand people.
yeah,
Okay.
if
You guys don't
if
know the
2000.
Majestic,
Wow.
but yeah.
Yeah,
Couple
so-
thousand.
Well, Majestic is literally stage, 1,000 people, huge bar.
that's what this, that's exactly what this was like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah,
That
but
must
I
have
mean,
been
not.
amazing.
It was set up differently, obviously.
Yeah,
like,
but
got
I mean-
inside. I'm like, where are we even going? You know, I'm like, oh, okay, over here.
But that really must have been amazing to see them at that type of.
It was. They did.
at this point in their career.
Yeah, and they did 3 nights.
Okay.
All of them, I think, were pretty much sold out, and they didn't play the same song twice
That's awesome.
over 3 nights. So if you've got you've got enough songs to do that, and they
Oh.
played for 2 hours. You know.
Shoot,
Then
that was
the-
about all three
I
nights.
know.
You know.
And that's the thing with them; they can do all that.
Right.
And I mean, I remember songs from like AM. Some of those
Yes,
are some of my
and-
favorite ones.
And the set
And then
list
there's
was
Being
cool.
There,
Yep, to
right?
see
Which they had the double.
Being there is too.
Obviously,
good.
Summer Teeth.
Yankee
and then,
Hotel Foxtrot.
And then, like, that's kind of where, not that I didn't become fans.
No, it's
but
just you kinda
kind
stop-
of move on.
Yep.
You know, you don't catch
hear
every
ya.
single album. But then I will say that's where I actually like the Spotify type thing. Because, like, with
You might
Wil-
hear a
with
song, you're like,
Wilco,
oh, this is new.
I'm like, you know what? Because I talked to you and Neil or Paul or Keith
Right.
or whoever, and they're like, "Oh, did you hear this song or whatever?" And I'm like, "Well, no." But now you can just download the effing song, and
Right.
you're like up to speed, and you're like, "Holy shit!" And then you start listening to some of the newer stuff.
yes.
And, you know.
Yeah, no, it's.
So there's like. Part of me like hates the Spotify thing because it was always great to get
Grab-
the CD.
yep,
You
yep.
know, you got
I
some-
appreciate that you guys release these on Tuesdays too. By the way, I didn't know if anybody. I mean, people
Absolutely.
should get it. Let's
Right.
be honest.
Th-
But
when we release music,
Yeah.
right? So you release it, and you know, I try to sometimes do them with the midnight release, but I
Yeah.
usually sometimes I'm also 48 years old, so I'm already sleeping by that point. So I'm hurry up and scrambling in the morning when I wake up and having
No one's
coffee
awake
with
yet.
my wife. But no. I mean, it's totally fun, and I tell you what, it's been awesome having you with us.
No,
And
thank you guys.
At this point,
the pleasure's
I
all
think
right
we're
here,
going to bring
man.
out our special
Yeah,
guest
let's do it.
that we've been hyping up this whole time.
hope we can live up
it
to
is
it,
your
man.
husband, Jeff.
Yes,
So we're
Jeff
going to get
Lane.
him up here, and we're going to get some input on some things you guys have been seeing lately.
Yeah, sounds
All right,
great,
cool.
man. We'll get-
I agree. Perfect. Wow, my beer stash has gotten quite a bit, considerably lower. Who's been stealing our beers? Jeff?
No. I hope not.
Well,
I don't think it was Jeff. I think you've been drinking.
I'm in the taller can over here.
we did take a little break. So we obviously have just been catching up with Lynsey about stuff that's been obviously happening over the better part of the last 20, almost 30 years, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And And in that time, Lynsey and Jeff have gotten married, and I remember having a great time at the wedding.
Yeah, we actually had some live music at our wedding.
The live music at the wedding. We actually were foaling.
Yes,
right?
we were at the Foaling Warehouse in Hamtramck.
Hamtramck, correct?
Hamtown.
Right. Absolutely. One of the most fun weddings I've ever been to.
Thanks,
So
that was a blast.
Jeff, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Welcome, Jeff.
Thank you.
Neil, your brother-in-law.
Hey.
So fun to have everyone here. So,
Best ever.
Jeff, obviously, it was funny earlier tonight. I actually asked Jeff, I'm like, dude, what is your last name?
Oh, come on.
And he goes, Lane, L-E-N-E. It doesn't get any subtitle. I'm like, well, I will never forget it from
Did
now
he tell
on.
you the origin of his name now?
No.
We were originally Polish, of course. Grandfather came over from Poland straight on the boat. And our last name was Drzegalski, and I can't spell it. There's D's and Z's and E-K-W-S-K-I.
I bet.
There's definitely a short of a vowel.
You're right.
in Poland.
And they couldn't spell it, so they legally changed their name to Lane.
Nice. But no, it was like, I've been hanging out with Jeff now, how many years?
Right,
A
right.
decade, right?
Shit, yeah,
Right.
10 years.
Easily. And so...
What's your last name? He also does not spell his name Geoff.
So it's not Geoff.
No.
It's not G.
Okay, because I remember talking to Paul. He's like, "Hey, I know this guy."
Sure.
And like, he's, I think it's Geoff, but I didn't know. So it's Jeff with a J.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right,
not
perfect.
G-E-O.
Got it.
So no, obviously we were talking to Lynsey, and she talked about how you guys like music is almost like a foundation of your almost relationship, right?
Definitely.
That's what you guys find joy in. You go out, check out new stuff, and if I understand correctly, you guys have seen a couple of cool, really cool things.
Yes,
Here in
absolutely.
the last week or two, right? So maybe touch on that for us.
Okay. We went and saw Billy Strings last night at Pine Knob. He's a Michigan-bred bluegrass player, under the age of 30, and I've seen him. I've been able to enjoy watching him come up through the ranks. I've seen him at small venues, less than 30 people in Hamtramck at Smalls. And he sold out Pine Knob last night, 15,000 people.
Yeah,
so.
and that was not even 10 years ago at Smalls.
Yeah.
So,
Which is just amazing.
Yeah, it is.
And that was
unreal.
Right. And we were talking to Lynsey, like how you like to catch the bands early on,
Right.
Yeah.
and as they're coming up. And to really experience it with them, you almost grow with them.
right,
sure.
right.
And
It was a blast.
when we were talking about that, I couldn't believe, he sold out Pine Knob.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like, some of the biggest acts in the world don't sell out Pine Knob.
right.
sure.
No kidding.
And granted, he's a local guy,
Yeah,
but
and
that's still an accomplishment.
I don't
Yeah.
think he's played here recently either. So,
And,
but needless to say, you see the following grow bigger and bigger, and it has almost that Grateful Dead mentality. You got to shake down straight. People are
Right.
selling stuff, and
Right.
just good
and
vibes.
everyone's hanging out
Yeah,
and just
good
having a good
times.
time.
Yeah.
And, I had never heard of Billy Strings. I don't know. Neil, have you really?
Only from Lynsey.
Right. Well, no, and that's the thing.
And
Is
Jeff.
I've heard you guys talk about him and that, and to be honest, I still,
Well,
to this
what's-
day, don't even have him on my Spotify yet. So if you
Okay.
will
Please
be,
do
Billy,
it.
don't worry. It's coming.
So I know you were kind of razzing.
Me and the tens of our followers
Right.
are totally going to
Yeah.
start watching
I
what
just-
you're doing, Billy.
It's funny because you were kind of razzing Paul a little bit
Billy.
about country, and it's not country though. I mean, this
No.
guy plays the guitar like
And
it's
that's-
electric. It sounds it's
And
a jam
And it's
band.
way better than
no, and we've
Right.
talked about that before. Is like, you have the Wilcos, you have the old 97s, you have these other bands where there's that
Where
country
they're-
feel
yeah,
to it.
Exactly.
But it's not true country.
I think one of the
Right.
first
It's like-
times he heard like one of Wilco's off of like Mermaid Avenue, she's like, "Wow, they're getting a little folky on me, huh?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's amazing if you can play, where it's gonna, someone's gonna like something that you're doing."
Right, and it comes back to, you have, at times I think Wilco was traveling with like 7 or 8 people, and
Absolutely.
playing all these different types of instruments, and that's always
There's like
what
7
we've
in there.
always liked about like Rusted Root.
Yeah,
You have all this
Just
huge
different
band and all these different
instruments.
that all work
Somebody's,
together. and
Yes.
playing the spoons. It's like
right. And for me, that's always been a huge thing because I don't understand lyrics. Or
Right.
anything, you know, so it's
Well,
like
when
just
it's
putting all
Eddie
that
Vedder,
together is, y'all better.
Well, that's what kind of
Right.
drew me to Wilco was, Jeff Tweedy in his own mind is a great songwriter and a producer, but Nels Cline, the guitarist,
Yeah.
he does shit with the guitar that I've never heard of before. And
Right.
it just
And
kind of
when you
blows my
can
mind.
listen to it, and it honestly sounds exactly like, and not that I want it to sound exactly like it was recorded, but that feedback and everything that you're doing in the studio is, when you're
Right.
doing it live in front of an audience,
Right.
just blows my mind. You know?
Right, they do that
Yes,
actual
it
feedback
sounds-
on the recording.
if you're listening
so
to-
you
yeah.
listen to it and hear it live.
Yeah.
And so you guys actually went and saw Wilco just recently.
Yeah, in
right?
March, the end of March, we just heard about the 3 nights they were doing at the Riv, and we're like, let's go to one of those. You know,
So in Chicago.
in Chicago.
Yeah.
Yep.
No
And it's not
repeat weekend.
downtown. It's not downtown. A little, you know, you're kind of up in the suburbs a bit, but close enough to downtown.
Yeah.
We just rented an Airbnb, and it was
Because it goes
great.
back to where you're trying to get back to some of these bands' roots.
Yes.
Yeah.
and see them in their
that-
hometown.
Right.
Yes.
And you know what? And we popped into a bar across the street from the venue, and you walk in and they're playing Wilco on. You know, it's kind of like
Shout out
This'll-
to Uptown Lounge.
yeah,
Shout out to Uptown
that
Lounge.
was great. Our
Chicago.
bartender was great. Yeah, and you walk in and they're playing Wilco. I'm like, that will never happen in Detroit.
Right,
anywhere,
right,
you
right.
know?
Yeah.
Like,
Right, absolutely.
so we walk in and she's like, first thing, you guys going to see
No,
Wilco?
you'd be hearing Kid Rock.
Yeah. She's like, are you guys going to see Wilco? And we're like, yeah, actually. And so we saw some people lining up outside the venue, and it didn't ever seem like it got long. I'm like, I think this is sold out, you know. Whatever, we're going to sit here and have some more drinks and figure that we're going to go on around 8 o'clock, right? You know, you're just, whatever. I don't need to be in there drinking $15 drinks, and I can, well, they were probably $15 at the bar. I was at.
Chicago bracing.
But you're much more comfortable.
right.
Much more comfortable.
So we walk over there and we're like, there's no line. This is crazy. Where are the people at? And so there obviously must be another entrance that I was unaware of, because we walk in and
Packed.
it's just packed. I'm
Right.
like, well, I guess we're just standing in the back,
So-
which is fine.
How many people would you say were in this?
think
Where was it?
1,200?
Riviera?
The
you said?
Riviera.
I was going to say, I
1200?
it's like a Fillmore. It's got that bar in the center. It's
Okay.
got
Okay.
the balcony above it kind of a
Yes.
thing.
Okay.
And I
Yeah.
think it's, you know, when I look back on, you know, comments on Facebook about the show, it's a lot of people said the Riv, we're sitting in the balcony is better than, you know, being
Right,
on the
right,
main
right.
floor or anything,
Yeah.
because it just sounds better. But I thought it sounded great. We had a great time. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And especially to see that band, Wilco,
It-
which, I mean,
and
we
you have such a following.
Well, it's funny because
Right.
the evolution of it, like, we were there when they just
Beginning,
started.
right,
And it was like, you know, 500 to 1,000 people, the Majestic Theater.
right.
Yeah.
And then it was like, they had Summer Teeth. We talked about that, Yankee, blah, blah, blah. But the next thing you know, they're like Grammy Award
I
winning
know,
like
right?
artists.
And for like the most, I mean, I like the song.
Right, no, but it's like all of
I
a
feel like there's
sudden
a lot
they're
of
like
other
getting
good
this big
songs.
following and they're
Yeah.
playing these bigger venues
Right.
and this
Jeff.
and that. So then to bring it back to see them in such a small venue.
I think they're keeping them small, though. I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen them at Meadowbrook before, you know, and Majestic and Royal Oak Music
I'll
Theater.
interrupt you real quick. Jeff, we went and saw Wilco at Ann Arbor Theater. Or
Oh, at the Hill Auditorium.
At the Hill Auditorium. Yeah, yeah.
He's
Yeah.
like, remember you
Guys
put,
went
Yeah.
with Keith.
you put a
Yeah.
put a post on Facebook. You said, "I'm going to see what this Wilco band is."
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
about."
Here we are.
And that's
years
what-
That was my
later.
first experience.
Still making
Yeah,
them
that's
listen to
when
them.
you
Right?
First
We're like, oh,
together.
dude, come on.
Yeah.
We're all here. All
Yeah.
of them guys. Who's this guy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right?
Get out of here, G-Off.
Yeah, yeah, right.
I'm not saying they're the best band ever, but did you like it?
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, he's definitely.
And it does. It comes back to it's just going
It's
to
good
a
music.
show, but usually with a band.
Yes.
You know, people are playing instruments. I mean,
Yeah.
like Wilco, you never saw any less than 5 people.
Oh my
on
God.
stage. Rest of
No.
the route, you never saw less than 5, 6, 7 people. You know, go back.
George
to all
Clinton.
in-
I was
all
gonna say
in-
George Clinton, yeah.
Clinton, I mean,
30 people on
Right,
stage,
yeah.
and he's
Right.
not even on stage for the
Someone's
first
job is-
45
that's when
minutes of
it's
the
the
set.
best,
Yeah, yeah.
right? Because like it's getting
30.
everyone involved
Yeah,
and all.
right.
George Clinton, where someone's job it is to like climb a speaker.
100%.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. There's a dude on stage wearing a diaper.
Yeah. Neil, that's
What is that pacifier doing? Right.
I wanted to touch base.
Bootsy. What's up, Bootsy?
Unexpectedly good shows. Go-Go Bordello. Remember? Oh my
yeah, you
God!
put
Talk
that-
about a bunch of people on stage.
Gypsy Punk, yeah.
Gypsy
Yeah,
Punk,
you put that
man.
in your notes. I
Just-
saw that.
I think
Crazy.
the lead singer was just trying to sell me something on the parking lot, like a grilled cheese or something. Yeah.
grilled cheese with a bottle of wine.
Not at the show, but actually in Howell. He was at the end
There's
of
a
the
carnival.
cul-de-sac.
Yeah. Took a wrong turn.
We're here in the basement.
No, that show was nuts though. Just the stage, like when you talk about people's stage, I'm like,
What is
Neil,
going on
can
here?
we move back, dude? I don't want to be
There's
involved
too
in
much
any
going
of
on
this.
here. I'm too close. Yeah.
I don't know what kind of drugs all these people are
Yeah,
on.
there's going to be an explosion on stage.
Everyone's
soon,
real
yeah.
sweaty.
There's definitely a point in time where you're like, I'm at a certain age where
I think there's
don't
an
need to be
age,
involved. in that.
Yeah.
I'll be in
I'm
the
good
back.
back here.
Yeah.
You can get as close as you want. I'm good standing
We're
at
going
this
to get
table
into
in the
this
back.
next week with our buddy Echon, but as we wind down here, right, that's going to be one of our topics because
Like, what was
Echon
your...
was always like
trick?
a guy that, you know, like you said earlier, like I kind of helped bring some music towards your way or whatever. Echon was that guy for me.
Yes.
Like, you know, he was a huge Wilco fan. He was the one that was like, hey, have you heard this Green Day album like in late 93?
Yeah,
or
like
whatever,
92.
You know?
Right?
And he was the one that actually called me first when Kurt Cobain died. So, like, he was always, like, my gauge,
Yeah.
you know. But we're going to have him on next week.
Yeah.
And we're gonna dive into a bunch of that stuff. So, it's going to be cool. I'm super happy that you guys were here.
Oh,
Jeff,
right. Thank you
we're
for having
definitely,
us.
I know we talked about it.
Yeah, he should be
Lynsey, we hit you for quite a bit here.
Yeah.
Jeffrey brought you in, but we're definitely going to have you back out. We want to have you on.
Absolutely.
It's kind of our standalone.
Well, that's the thing of going to concerts. It's like you get your own experience, and you want to hear about that experience and how it.
And, you know, so
There's a reason why we keep
I want
going
to dive
back,
into
you
that
know?
a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Because you're totally right. So, you know, Neil, you know, God bless us, right? We're old men. We're trying to deal with the tech, you know, the Insta, the fucking the Facebook,
Yeah.
Stuff.
You know, YouTube. And
Yeah,
all
there's
that
no
stuff.
Napster anymore.
Yeah.
No, but that was great when there was.
Right.
I was downloading music from who knows where.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
All
Yeah, no, but that's the whole point of it is just like getting everyone back together and
Yeah.
talking about the shows and everything that you go through with it. And, you know, we talk a lot of the times it's not even the show itself, it's the people you're with.
Just the
Oh, for sure.
The
experience.
experience
Yeah.
of it, right?
Yeah.
Lasting memories.
And I will say, you know, the Killer Tunes part of the name here, right, is like a lot of times that you go to these shows and you're like, oh my God, there's like 12 people, and you look around and there's like, you can look at one person and be like, oh my God, I'm so happy to be here with this person for that reason. Like it over here, Neil, oh my God. Like you connect on different
Right.
levels at different times on the show.
Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
totally
But no
awesome.
doubt about it, there's always that one song that just hits you at a concert.
Yeah.
And it can be a
Goosebumps.
concert that
Goosebumps.
right, where it's
Yeah.
just
Nice,
the
Jeff.
band
I
that you
like that.
absolutely love, or it's the people you've never seen
Yeah.
before.
Right.
But hey, I'm on vacation, I happen to run to this concert, I'm like, holy crap, that was awesome.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure.
And the cool thing now is you can actually look it up.
Oh,
You
for
can like
sure.
find out, wait, this band played here when I was
Or
like
even-
in
I'm
fucking
looking at
North
the set list
Carolina.
last
We
night.
legit
Billy
just-
Strings.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
looked
yeah,
at the
yeah.
set list driving home.
Yeah.
I'm like, what was that Alice in Chains song that he covered? I'm like,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
No,
you know, like-
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, that you can go back, and I mean, and that's where some of, when we talk about some of these shows, I look back like 20, 30 years, you go to the setlist website, and
oh,
it's like,
man.
there's
Yeah.
actually a record
I
of
saw
all this
that.
crap.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
amazing.
you know, and it's
Yeah.
like,
And it's pretty amazing.
and I realize,
after
like,
the
I
show.
get pissed now when they only played like 17 songs.
Right.
And I look back, and I was like, in the early 90s, like, the Pumpkins would play like 13 songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
With,
get
like,
70
two
minutes.
No,
With
you
like
can-
two encores.
If
you
you're
know?
getting
With a
headliner-
shitty opening band.
Right.
You're getting a headliner now. They're gonna play for about 2 hours, so
Yeah.
you're getting a pretty good
No,
concert
absolutely.
experience. And
And, you know, it just comes
wouldn't
back
have it
to
any
it,
other
like,
way.
you find the people that you like being around,
Yeah.
go to shows, and sometimes it's 8 people, sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's by yourself.
By yourself,
because you know what?
absolutely.
Because it gets to that point, and we hit this with Shaq big time. if you want to see someone, you
Go
better
see
go
it.
see
You go
them.
see it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
go
we're not
see it.
getting
If you
any.
go
Yeah.
see them by yourself, just
Do never
it, because
hesitate.
No matter what,
You ain't got
have that
nobody to go
experience.
with. You ain't got a ticket.
And
You'll
it-
still get a ticket at the door.
Right,
That's what
and
I
if
love.
you do it, send me the
love it.
video of it. We'll load it up to YouTube.
Yeah.
We'll all
Okay.
check it out.
Yeah.
Sounds good, man.
All right, bros.
Well,
Really
I-
appreciate it.
Thanks for being here,
No,
both
we
of
appreciate
you.
Oh,
your
absolutely.
time.
And obviously, Jeff, we want to have you back on. Lindsay, you know you're going to be back on.
I know. I'm like, we could record for hours.
Right.
The tandem.
Jeez.
Right.
We're
We
riding
haven't even
that
gotten
tandem
into-
bike. Yeah.
Tandem
I
Yeah.
appreciate
We're on
having
Mackinac
you.
Island. Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to hit that. Actually, no, I will because we can edit.
He's trying to do an
Oh, no.
Outro.
Eventually.
outro.
The intro is Billy's Strings, right?
Eh?
I have something on the outro, but I don't even remember what it is.
Huh?
But the beauty is I can edit. Oh, this is more for me and you. I hear you.
Later, bros.
So we've had an absolute blast.
Yeah.
One, first of all, Lindsay, catching up with you about like the last 20 years. Jeff,
yeah.
thank you for joining us to talk about one.
Cheers, guys.
The
Yeah,
really
thank you, Jeff.
cool shows you've seen recently.
Oh yeah, we'll
absolutely.
continue to be going.
Yeah.
And I just mentioned that to Neil earlier, like Wilco's the one band I want to see again. Because I started thinking about, I haven't seen them in probably 20 years.
Go see
You
them.
know?
Yeah.
And so
I
I,
would-
definitely want to check them when they can.
It doesn't even have to be Wilco. It can be your local band. It could be the next Wilco.
It could be.
Spend
But
that $10. Go see your local band.
I did
Nice.
get
Yeah,
Pearl
I
Jam
agree.
tickets, though, when I speak of that.
Yeah.
It's kind of way too much for
Yeah.
me. Yeah, I am going to go see them,
Yeah.
which I'm super excited about. 'Cause-
Whatever. Have
Well-
a good time.
Well,
Who
no,
cares?
I mean, I think we saw Pearl Jam the last time at Pine Knob in like 2000.
So no, I saw him at Joe Louis.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Before
it
the
was
Joe Louis
amazing.
closed, yeah.
It was
wow.
amazing.
Smashing
I
Lights.
remember that when they did that.
Smashing
Okay.
Lights
And
and
that was a
Smashing...
free show. We got free
yeah.
tickets. So any free shows.
Awesome.
Always
So,
a
no,
pleasure.
I'm super happy you guys got to be here. I'm glad
Absolutely.
we
Thank you for the
connected.
invite.
Rock
Oh my
on,
God.
two dudes.
Episode 8, dude. Like,
Hey,
we
let's
actually
get it
did
out.
it. You keep saying we did it. No, we're doing it. And we're going to keep doing it.
Yep.
And who knows how long this is going to go. I mean,
Sure.
as long as those tens of people are listening, we're out there for you.
And watch
In
this.
Canada, thank you.
Yeah.
You can finally download it.
Hey,
Being our friendly international neighbor.
So all you haters out there, I bet you there's none.
There
No,
can't
there's no
be.
haters.
Fuck
They
you.
just haven't heard us yet.
thank you for your coffee and your poutine.
I love Timmy's.
Timbits for days.
All right.